Have you ever wondered why some relationships feel so draining? Why do you feel more exhausted after certain conversations, even though the person seemed friendly? And why do some people, despite appearing kind, always leave you second-guessing yourself? Welcome back to the channel. It's great to have you here again. Today's topic is one that touches every corner of your life. From your friendships and career to your emotional health and future potential, we're diving into something most people avoid confronting until it's too late. Who should you avoid in life? Who are the people that might look harmless but are actually sabotaging your growth, happiness, and self-worth? In this video, we'll explore the 9 types of people that the wisest individuals avoid at all costs. These are not always villains. They can be coworkers or relatives, even longtime friends. But being around them too long will drain your energy, distort your values, and derail your purpose. Let's uncover the signs through stories, patterns, and human behavior, so you can protect your peace and surround yourself with those who genuinely uplift you. Let me take you back to a moment I'll never forget. A few years ago, a close friend came to me visibly upset. He had just left a lunch meeting with someone he had considered a good friend for years, and yet he looked more broken than I'd ever seen him. "I don't get it," he said. "I'm always there for him. Listen, hell, but somehow I always leave feeling like I'm not enough." It wasn't until we unpacked that friendship that he realized it wasn't a friendship, it was a one-sided emotional trap. And this brings us to the first type of person to have the self-centered opportunist. This is someone who's always around when they need you, but disappears when you need them. They turn every conversation back to themselves. They rarely ask how you're doing, and even when they do, it's just a polite pause before continuing about their own problems, achievements, or frustrations. They don't take from you in obvious ways. They use your energy, your time, your empathy. You think you're being a good friend, but really you're a backup charger for their ego. These people will leave you emotionally exhausted, yet strangely guilty for thinking something feels off. If you constantly feel like the emotional caretaker in a relationship with little to no reciprocity, it's time to step back. The second type to avoid is more subtle, but just as toxic: the two-faced flatterer. You know the type. Sweet to your face, full of compliments, always is supportive when others are watching, but behind closed doors. So when your back is turned, they gossip, criticize, and betray. They don't support you because they believe in you. They support you because it helps them look good, and the moment your success threatens their spot, they throw you under the bus, all while smiling. A colleague of mine once confided that our best friend at work shared our personal struggles with her. After promising to keep it private, "I just wanted them to know how stressed you were," she said with fake concern. That act cost her a promotion. Trust, once broken, rarely returns. Be cautious of those who praise you too often, but disappear when you truly need support. Then comes the emotional roller coaster, the third type. This person is unpredictable. One day they're warm and loving, the next cold and distant. They take you on a ride, one that leaves you anxious, confused, and constantly trying to figure out what you did wrong. These people often have unresolved trauma or deep insecurity, but unless they're actively healing, they'll project their storms onto you. You find yourself tiptoeing around them, always watching your words, afraid to upset them. You adapt your behavior to their mood, and slowly you lose your sense of self. You weren't meant to shrink to fit someone else's instability. Relationships, whether romantic or platonic, should feel safe and not like a minefield. The chronic complainer is the fourth. They drain you without even realizing it. Every conversation turns negative. Every topic leads to complaints about life, people, politics, weather, traffic, everything. You could share your excitement about a new job, and they'd say, "I hope it's better than the last one." You know how corporate life is. They don't listen. They project, and worst of all, their negativity is contagious. Psychology calls this emotional contagion, and the more time you spend with them, the more their hopelessness becomes yours. Protect your mindset. Optimism isn't about ignoring problems. It's about believing you're not doomed by them. Chronic complainers keep you stuck in the mud, just so they don't have to feel alone. Now the comparison junkie, fifth on the list. They can't celebrate your wins. If you get a raise, they'll say their cousin got more. If your child gets into a good school, they'll bring up someone else's Ivy League acceptance. They turn every conversation into a competition, subtly trying to one-up you or remind you you're never quite there. At first you might think they're just insecure, but long-term, these comparisons eat at your confidence. You start questioning your worth, wondering if you're actually doing well or just falling behind. Real friends cheer when you win. They don't treat your success as a threat. The freeloader is next. This one is obvious, but surprisingly hard to detach from. They always forget their wallet. They borrow but never return. They ask for favors but never offer help. You might think, well, I'm just being generous, but generosity without boundaries breeds resentment. True friendship is built on mutual support. If someone only reaches out when they need something, you're not a friend, they're a transaction. Number 7 is the fake cheerleader. They act like your biggest fan, but only when you're beneath them. Once you start shining and their applause fades, they'll subtly suggest you're changing, that you're different now, that you're not the same person. What they're really saying is, I liked you better when you needed me. These people are dangerous, not because they're loud, but because their disapproval comes wrapped in concern. They guilt you for growing, and if you're not careful, you'll slow down just to keep their approval. The habitual critic is next. They never have anything nice to say. No matter what you do, it's not enough, not smart enough, not fast enough, not impressive enough. You write a book, they find the typo. You lose weight, they say you looked better before. You switch careers, they say it's risky. Their words hide behind honesty or just being real, but all they really do is chip away at your self-esteem. Constructive feedback is a gift. Constant criticism is a weapon. And no one deserves to be around someone who makes them question their worth every time they speak. Finally, beware of the manipulator in disguise. They don't lie with words, they lie with silence, with omission, with guilt. They make you feel like everything's your fault. They twist your words. They weaponize your kindness. They take advantage of your empathy. They're masters of emotional chess, and you're always the losing pawn. These people aren't always evil, but they are deeply wounded, and unless they do the work, they'll keep hurting others in subtle, sophisticated ways. The only way to win this game is not to play it. Now take a breath. How many of these types have you encountered? How many are still in your life? It's not about judging them, it's about protecting you. You only have so much emotional energy, so much space in your heart. Fill it with people who nurture you, who grow with you, who want to see you win, not secretly hope you fall. Life is too short to spend it in the wrong company. And now I want to hear from you. Have you ever realized someone close to you was actually a drain? Have you cut ties, and what happened afterward? Or are you still trying to find the courage to walk away? Your stories, your lessons, your victories, they matter. Share them in the comments. And if this video gave you clarity, a strength, or simply a sense of I'm not alone, please support the channel, like the video, subscribe, share it with someone you care about. Because we all deserve relationships that are safe, supportive, and deeply real. Thank you for watching this video.